The air in that small Chicago bedroom was thick with dust and memory, the kind that clings to your skin and won't let go. He sat too close on the edge of the bed, his shoulder brushing mine as we flipped through old photos, the kind you dig up when you're packing to leave a place for good. The sunlight spilled across the sheets, catching the mess of half-folded shirts and crumpled jeans between us, like a map of a life we were tearing apart. I shifted, steadying a stack of shirts before they slid to the floor, my fingers brushing the fabric, still warm from his hands. Folded them wrong, Nick teased, tossing a pair of socks my way, his voice light but edged with something heavier, like a blade hidden in velvet. I laughed, not looking up. Then stop handing me mismatched junk. He wasn't the kid I used to know anymore, not the scrawny 14-year-old I'd watched over years back. Now, at 26, he was steady, sure, his eyes carrying a weight that made my pulse jump when they met mine. I held up a photo of him at 14, gap-toothed, hugging a golden retriever half his size. "You kept this?" I asked, grinning. He leaned in, close enough that I felt his breath on my cheek, a spark I didn't expect. "That's blackmail material." He groaned, laughing, but his eyes stayed on me. Sharp, searching. I held the photo out of reach, teasing, "You were cute." And now he asked, one eyebrow raised, his smile crooked, like he was daring me to cross a line. I froze, caught by the question, my eyes locked on his. It wasn't playful anymore, it was heavy, deliberate, like a match struck in a room full of gas. "You've changed," I said, my voice low, barely steady. His smile lingered, but his eyes didn't waver. "So have you." The room went quiet, the kind of quiet that presses against your chest. Dust floated in the sunlight above the lamp, like ghosts of moments we'd never speak of. He leaned back, staring at the ceiling, one photo resting on the pile beside him, his fingers brushing its edge, like he was holding on to something he couldn't keep. Then his eyes flicked to me, heavy, thoughtful. "Ever think how things might have been if we'd met later?" I looked down at the photo in my hand, my thumb tracing its edges, feeling the weight of what he wasn't saying. "Maybe," I murmured, my voice barely there. The moment hung, thick, dangerous. I flipped to another photo, pretending to study the scrawled date on the back, anything to keep my hands from trembling. I should have stood, said something safe, gone downstairs to check on a stew I didn't make. Instead, I stayed, the photo on my lap, the silence settling like a trap. He leaned forward, reaching for another photo, his hand pausing midair, like he was testing the air between us. I watched him sort the stack, his movements slow, deliberate, each gesture pulling me closer to something I couldn't name. He held up a prom photo, years old, his tuck slightly too big, his grin cocky. "This one's less embarrassing," he said, his voice softer, slower, like he was speaking to the memory, not me. I looked, but I didn't see the photo. I saw him, the way his eyes caught mine, holding me there, like a rope I didn't want to cut. The photo slipped from his hand, landing on the bed between us. "I should finish packing," I whispered, but my voice cracked, betraying me. He didn't answer, just looked at me, quiet, steady, his gaze peeling back every defense I had. My fingers tightened on the photo, my heart pounding, like it knew something I wasn't ready to admit. He reached for another picture, slower this time, his hand hovering, a hesitation that felt like a promise. I looked at his hand, then up at him. He shifted, his eyes meeting mine with a quiet intensity, like he was waiting for me to make a move I didn't understand. He set the photo down between us, his fingers lingering on its corner, like he was anchoring himself to the moment. The air crackled, heavy with something unspoken. He leaned closer, his eyes searching mine, a question he didn't need to ask. I didn't speak, couldn't. The silence was enough, a current pulling us under. His smile was slight, crooked, like he knew exactly what I was thinking and wasn't rushing me toward it. I held his gaze, letting the silence stretch, inviting something I couldn't name. No kiss, just a look that said more than words ever could, heavy with the weight of what we weren't saying. I set the photo down, glancing at him again, watching him draw a slow breath, like he was trying to steady himself against the pull. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice low, deliberate. My thumb traced the photo's edge, trying to hold myself steady against the weight of the moment. He leaned closer, not touching, waiting for a signal I hadn't decided to give. The photo slipped again as we shifted, settling deeper into the bed. He picked up another, pausing before handing it to me, like it could say what he couldn't. I leaned in, my voice barely a whisper. Words caught in my throat, none of them right. I sank into the cushions, unsure if I should speak or let the moment pass. He turned toward me, his elbow brushing the pillow between us, a touch that felt like a spark in the dark. His eyes searched mine, waiting for something I hadn't agreed to give, but couldn't pull back from. The air hummed, tense, alive, like the moment before a storm breaks. We didn't speak. His hand rested on the blanket beside me, his fingers grazing the edge of a folded shirt as he leaned closer, close enough for me to feel the heat of him. The closeness hit me, sudden, sharp, like realizing you've stepped too far over a line you can't uncross. Not a kiss, but a moment he didn't want to break. His hand paused on the blanket, fingers still, a silent promise of something more. A shiver ran down my spine, not from his touch, but from the silence, the way it carried weight, like a sin we hadn't committed yet. He leaned closer, slower, his breath steady, controlled. I closed my eyes, not meaning to, letting the moment swallow me whole. The fabric shifted as we moved, the silence stretching tighter. My hand reached out, instinctive, thoughtless. He moved something out of the way, pausing before setting it aside. His eyes never leaving mine, like he was memorizing me. When he leaned back, his focus was absolute, quiet, like he saw straight through to the parts of me I kept hidden. My hand moved, reaching for him, pulled by something I didn't choose. A shaky breath escaped me, unsteady, raw. He made a sound, low, unplaceable, his forehead tilting toward mine. The space between us was narrow, warm, charged with something neither of us could ignore. He didn't speak as our eyes met again, neither did I. He leaned further, unhurried, holding the moment, like the silence was the point. I shifted, sinking deeper into the bed, my body betraying the calm I tried to hold. He adjusted too, the moment tightening, like a knot we couldn't untie. His head dipped closer to my shoulder, not touching, but close enough that I felt him, like a current running through me. I reached for him, instinctive, thoughtless, my hands moving before I could stop them. He pulled back just enough to meet my eyes again, like he was seeing something he didn't want to forget. We held each other, breaths blending, unbroken, caught in a moment too heavy to break. I reached for him again, sinking into the silence, letting it pull me under like a tide. Every second of that moment was louder than sound. He moved closer, slow, deliberate, the space between us narrowing, like a trap closing soft and sure. My lungs froze. My hands found his shoulders, gripping tighter than I meant, like I was holding on to keep from falling. I shifted, drawing a sharp breath, my thoughts drowning in the now. His hand found the back of my neck, his eyes still on mine, waiting, always waiting. Everything felt amplified his breath, the tension, the way my heart pounded like it was confessing. His name echoed behind my teeth, not from memory, but because I couldn't hold it back. It spilled out, raw, before I knew I'd said it. A confession I couldn't take back. I froze, caught by the rush of it all, the weight of what we'd started. A trembling breath escaped me, quiet, strange. I leaned back into the pillows, my thoughts racing to catch up. But my body already knew. His name left my lips again, soft, inevitable, like a door swinging open, still close, still silent. Be honest. Would you stay this close? What happens next? Tell me in the comment. I'll read them. And if you haven't already, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss what's next. Thanks for being here.